Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Monday morning, the 17th day of March, 2025. Yes, it's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. From the home weather office this morning, I look out the window and it's raining. We have some light rain here. We've had some rain during the night last night and the overnight. For the valley, we're going to see the showers taper off, but there is a very good chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. I'll show you that. As well as we're getting snow in the Sierra. We have chain controls in the Sierra once again this morning, even down on Highway 20 east of Nevada City. We have some chain controls there on Highway 20 with the snow level this morning hovering in the range of 4,000 feet. I'll show you that here in just a second. Let's go to the radar and we'll start with that. And you know, I look at this and I will bet that somewhere in the country, someplace where it's raining, some TV meteorologist said, "Hey, it's St. Patrick's Day. We have green on radar." Those TV weather people. Anyway, as we go through the next couple of hours, the valley will be basically dry. But once the sun comes out, and I'll show you that on the satellite here in a second, we are likely going to see thunderstorms pop up. This is one of those classic cases where we see rain go through colder air coming in, and all you do is, at this time of year with that higher sun angle, is you break out a little bit of sunshine, and you're just going to see thunderstorms pop. The west slope, pretty soupy, and above Highway 49, we will continue to be pretty soupy from Tuolumne County all the way farther to the north up toward even into Quincy. We'll continue to see some rain and snow at the higher elevations. But it is going to be, once again, the thunderstorms we'll be watching this afternoon. Now, it's interesting, we look at this, and, this is raw radar data. And when I was doing television, the product that we have there would estimate where the rain-snow line is. Now, the thing was that rain-snow line wasn't always perfect. And so what we would be in the position of doing is trying to figure out where the rain-snow line is. Whether it was people calling into the office or estimating by temperatures, like right now at Blue Canyon at 5,000 feet, the temperature is 30 degrees. So you know that the snow level is a little bit lower than that. But what else would we do? Well, we look at cameras. It's as simple as that. I mean, we can look at radar and we can look at all sorts of other data, but sometimes just, whether it was calling people or looking at cameras, this is how we, look at data. I mean, we're looking at data just because if you're sitting in an office somewhere, you don't know what's going on in a place like Pollock Pines. But this is Pollock Pines as I'm recording this right around 8 o'clock in the morning. And I looked at this about a half an hour ago and it was just raining. It's now changing over to snow as colder air is coming in. It's just getting that rain-snow changeover, so you don't see any snow on the roads. But again, that's at about 4,000 feet. As you come down the hill, now keep in mind these come from the Z Realty Group. I want to give them credit for these cameras, which we really appreciate. Down at Camino, where we did have snow on the ground last week, you can see all of that has melted. So between 3,200 feet, you have, at 3,200 feet, you have rain, but at 4,000 feet, you have this rain-snow mix. So, even though we have radar and, all sorts of other weather equipment, sometimes it's just a matter of, looking at cameras, and which is basically looking at other people's out people's windows, basically. Yeah, it's all part of gathering weather information. It's sometimes not as technical as you think it might be. All right, so here's the satellite, and here is the area of cloud cover that's going through. And we have nice orographic flow, and you can see that area of brighter cloud cover here being pushed up the west slope. Then in here, we have the area of clearing on the west side of the valley. And then back in here, a nice clear low. You can see that little bit of motion in here. You see the clouds moving this way and then this way, a low right in here. And this is where the colder air is. So the colder air is coming in. As I mentioned, the snow level is dropping in the Sierra. So now we're getting that snow at 4,000, and it will continue at 4,000 and maybe a little bit lower as we go through the morning and the colder air comes in. But it's this area of clearing. I didn't mean to zoom in that much. It's this area of clearing that is going to give us the chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. Yeah, it's a classic case of the colder air coming in first thing in the morning, and we get some midday clearing, and yep, everything goes off. Okay, so I'll show you a couple of different versions of the models here. So you say, okay, Mark, we're going to see thunderstorms this afternoon. Where? All right, well, let's take a look at the HRRR. And this is, let's see what time we're up to here. This is at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The snow level will still be around 3,500 to 4,000 feet. And then you just see these little cells pop up. I'll show you a better version of this in a minute. But you see these little cells. They don't look like much, but those are little convective cells. And with the air being cold enough, we could see some small hail with these this afternoon. And also, I said the snow level around 3,500 feet. When you get one of these convective cells that goes up the hill, because the air above is so cold, you get, it may not be a thunderstorm, but it can still be what we call a convective cell, and it will drop snow at lower elevations. But it's not like you're going to be shoveling it, but instead of getting rain out of one of these convective cells, you will get some snow. But for areas where we'll see good accumulating snow, right now it's at 4,000, and that'll likely come down to about 3,500. But yes, some of you at lower elevations than that will see snow showers this afternoon. I want to be clear about that. And so then as we head into the night tonight and during the day tomorrow, we are dry. So that's the way it looks on this product, which is the precipitation type. But let's go over to the simulated reflectivity, because this does a better job of indicating where and when we may be seeing a thunderstorm. Let me back this up just a little bit more. All right, so here we are this morning with that rain on the west slope, and this shows that low that I showed you on the satellite spinning around here, and you see these little cells around it. Now let's go into the middle part of the day. This is around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yep, this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can see these discrete cells. So that one would be in Butte County. This would be down toward the Roseville area. This is along Highway 49. And actually probably a little bit lower in El Dorado County, Cameron Park, as well as maybe one down toward Ione and Stockton. That's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Those go by, and then as the low kicks in around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we have another chance, which is right here. Now, again, you can't really take the model at face value, but you can see areas that are most favorable for thunderstorms. And what this looks like in the broader picture is that in Sacramento County to the east, in San Joaquin County into the east, the lower foothills will have a better chance of thunderstorms than we will, let's say, in Solano County. So for those of you in Fairfield and Vacaville, maybe you don't get one of those downpours and hail. Another model also shows this, and with this, I'm going to show you this is the NAM nest. I'm going to show you the convection, but first I want to go back to the simulated reflectivity, because this is just another model's version of what may happen. And this is the rain this morning. And then once again, during the middle part of the day, we get these discrete cells like this one that's over Sacramento County and to the east. And then farther to the north, I'd include places like Rancho Murrieta, Elk Grove, Lodi would have a chance of these. But generally, it looks like it's I-5 to the east that has the best chance of these this afternoon, and anytime between about 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And then gradually into the evening, all of these taper off. All right, so the other thing that we look at here is the CAPE. So this is a measure of just how unstable the atmosphere may be. And I'll go to 1 o'clock this afternoon. Let's see, right in here. There are some pockets that pop up in here that are blue. And that, as I scroll over that, you can see the top number, CAPE, is 1,097, which is pretty unstable for our area. But a little bit of perspective here. Down on the bottom, these areas that are this purplish color, that's CAPE below 1,000. You get into the blue, that's CAPE 1,000 and up to 2,000, and then farther to the right on this scale goes up to 4,000, 5,000. Again, this is a measure of just how unstable the atmosphere might be, and I'll explain more on that here in a second. When we had the big tornado outbreak in Alabama, and Mississippi over the course of the weekend, their cape was up in here. And so ours is down in here. We don't have enough moisture in the air. We don't have a lot of the ingredients, which is why our thunderstorms are different from the thunderstorms they get on the Gulf Coast as well as in the Midwest. But still, we have the possibility of thunderstorms this afternoon. Now, let me explain a little bit more about that using one of these virtual soundings. And so this is from 1 o'clock this afternoon. And the red line here is the temperature. The green line is the humidity. And we have very cold air aloft. This is the 500 millibar level here, which is around 18,000 feet. Actually, it'll be a little bit lower. And right here, it crosses this dashed line. That's the minus 30 degrees C line. And usually the number that I look for is somewhere around minus 25. If it's minus 25 or colder and you have some moisture down below, you're going to get really good lift, especially at this time of year when the sun angle is a little bit higher. So what this does show is that if you have a theoretical parcel down here, which is what we would always deal with in weather school, is you think about a theoretical parcel of air. Just think about a big bubble of air down here at the surface. Warm air rises, and it doesn't have to be warm to rise. It just has to be warmer than its surrounding environment. And here we have very cold air aloft. So this means that this parcel down here is going to rise very quickly through the atmosphere. And it has moisture with it too. So it's this parcel of air that has a bunch of moisture with it, rises rather rapidly into the atmosphere. It gets into colder air. That moisture condenses, and you see the thunderheads build up to probably 25,000, 30,000 feet. They'll go up into here this afternoon, and we will see downpours come out of those. And because the air up here is so cold, you will likely see some hail. Now, the other thing we look at on these is this little thing over here called a hodograph. Now, there doesn't appear to be a lot of shear with this, but this model does spit out marginal severe for the thunderstorms that we may get. I think that what we're looking at here this afternoon, again, is just the possibility of getting a little bit of hail. So again, I just wanted to kind of show you this because this is one of the tools that we use to forecast what's going to happen this afternoon. All right, let's go a little bit farther out in time and talk about the other rain chances we may have this week. All right, so we've gone through, I'll back this up. So we've gone through the rain we have today and the thunderstorms. Tomorrow's a dry day. Now on Wednesday, let's see, what time frame is this? This is Wednesday evening. A little area of rain goes by, maybe an inch or two of snow. I'd call that more showers than anything else. And we had been looking at something coming our way around the 21st. And this is the night of the 21st. Now the models want to take that farther to the north. A couple of days ago, the GFS was showing a pretty vigorous system coming through, but now it looks as though all of that stays off to our north, which will leave us dry as we head through the weekend and also dry into next week. Let's see what time frame we're up to now. We're all the way up to next Thursday. So the end of next week, maybe something goes by, but really it does look as though the models are relatively dry once we get past today. So that little system, maybe something goes by on Wednesday, and that's about it. So getting some snow in the Sierra today. We have chain controls going up in the Sierra right now. Ski resorts for the overnight reported 6 to 9 inches of snow, and we'll add another few inches to that today. And with the snow level dropping, it's powder, so tomorrow should be an amazing ski day for those of you that can do that. For the valley, thunderstorms this afternoon. Again, it looks as though the most likely areas are going to be from I-5 to the east and anytime between, let's say, noon and 5 or 6 o'clock. And some of those could have some small hail with them because the air is going to be so cold. But once the sun goes down tonight, those showers will likely be dissipating, and then tomorrow will be a dry day. Tomorrow gets off to a cold start, but then after that, we will see warmer weather as we go through the week. And again, maybe a shower on Wednesday evening, but it's not like it's going to be a storm or anything like that. Wow. I don't know how long I just talked, but I'll figure that out in a minute. That's everything I've got for you this morning. Hope that helped. Hope you found that helpful. Well, yeah, have a great St. Patrick's Day. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.